Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. My name is Chris, and thanks for coming by. Before I get into this topic, if you watch this video, please give it a quick thumbs up. All right, so we're going to talk about 20 things Uber and Lyft doesn't tell drivers. So let's get right into it. Number 1, insurance. How to handle things on your personal insurance, how it works when you're online driving, waiting for a ride, and then what happens when it's on actual rides itself. So it's hard to find that breakdown, both for Uber and Lyft, and they don't really explain it very well, but you can find it. It's easiest to find in forums and also talking to other drivers, especially if they've been in accidents or whatnot, so they can kind of tell you where to go, what to do, and making sure that you fall in line and claim on the right insurance and all this stuff. So you really want to make sure that you do your due diligence when it comes to insurance and researching how it works, just in case anything does happen out on the road. Number 2, passengers can be rude. If you haven't watched any YouTube videos yet, you can really see the dark side of rideshare on things. For the most part, let's just say passengers are really good, but some of them can be very rude and nasty and feel like they're entitled. So you just want to make sure that you're aware of that, and then also how you want to handle a situation if a passenger is rude. And there's many options that you have. Number 3, watch out for scams. Many people try to scam Uber and Lyft and the drivers by many different ways. So you want to make sure also to check out all the different scams, all the different possibility of scams, and know what is happening, how it's happening, and then to be able to avoid that. Scams are a big thing out there, so you want to make sure you watch out for them, because essentially all passengers trying to do is get a free or reduced ride, so it's ending up going to take money out of your pockets. So again, watch out for those scams and make sure you keep all the money that you can when you're driving. Number 4, Uber and Lyft only track the miles during a ride itself. So you want to make sure that you track all of the miles totally. So anytime you leave your house or work or wherever you are going online, and during the entire interaction all the way back home, or to where you're ending, you want to make sure that you track the miles and that Uber and Lyft only track the miles during a ride when it's active. Not going to a ride, not driving in between rides, any of that stuff. So make sure you know that. Number 5, any expense getting to a ride is not covered by Uber or Lyft. That means if you have to cross a toll, like a bridge to get to a place, they don't cover that. Even though they might tell you that's the route to go or that is the only route to go. So you need to know that. You can try to fight Uber or Lyft to get that toll, but chances are you're probably not going to get it. So just make sure that you are aware of that. Yeah, some expenses like that might not be covered by Uber or Lyft. Now, when you are on the ride, any toll that's incurred or anything like that, that will be covered by Uber or Lyft, and the fare that's paid by the passenger themselves. So you do know that, and you are aware of that. Number 6, do not chase surge or prime time, depending on Uber or Lyft. It's really not worth it, because here's the big thing. If it's not a large event and it's just something that pops up, Uber and Lyft drivers are going to be driving to that. So there might not be any Uber or Lyft drivers there at the moment, but guess what? Soon there will be. So you might not get any rides. The easiest thing is once a new ride comes in, if it's surge, hey, that's great. Good for you. You kind of made it without realizing that there's surge in that area. Also, if there is any type of surge right after you end the ride and you're in the middle of it, hey, that's great. It's like a little extra bonus for you. But if there's like dedicated surge zones, that's another thing. But any surge that might pop up, all the other drivers might be chasing that as well too. So an area that has no drivers, all of a sudden will have a lot of drivers. So yeah, you don't want to chase the surge if you don't have to. But yeah, definitely try not to do that. Number 7, you don't have to accept every ride that comes in. You have the choice to allow or accept or deny a ride when it comes in. You don't have to take it. If it's too far away, if the passenger rating is too low, if it's going in the wrong direction where you want to go, or if the ride's in the opposite direction of where you want to go, you can deny those rides. You don't have to accept them. Also, if it's a long ride and you're coming up to the end of your shift, or you don't want to go too far away, you can have that option also of denying that ride. So you do not have to take every single ride. Number 8, you can cancel the ride for passengers trying to do something wrong. So if that means you see too many passengers, alcohol coming in your car, anything like that, you can cancel on the ride. You don't have to take the ride, so just make sure you are aware of that. Number 9, passengers can rate you low for absolutely no reason. You know, one of the things is if you're new and you don't realize that passengers just rate poorly to begin with, you could do everything right. You could, pick them up, take them somewhere safe, drop them off. And if they're going to rate you bad because they're just a bad passenger, then they're just going to rate you bad. And you need to realize that there's going to be a handful of rides that you give that could be good, that you're just going to get a low rating on. So you need to understand that. Number 10, tips can be few and far in between. If you look at things, tips might not happen often. There's always a misconception for a new driver that thinks every ride's going to get tipped or close to every ride. Usually the opposite is quite true. And also it depends too on your market or the area you drive. So some people might tip more than others, or some areas might tip more than others. And it's just kind of where you are. But just know that tips can be few and far in between. All right, number 11. How to navigate the apps. Uber and Lyft do not really tell new drivers how to navigate the apps, even experienced drivers when changes in the apps happen. It's just stuff where you kind of got to search through it, look through it, give a couple of rides, see how the breakdown is, see how everything's set up, and kind of go through the app and teach yourself how to use it. Because they do not really show you how to use it except for pretty much going online and then hitting the accept button and then driving too. That's kind of really all they kind of teach you. And then, like I say, any changes to the apps, when there's updates, they may not show you where things are, where things have moved. It can be very difficult to find that. So just always make sure you pay attention to where the app or how to navigate the apps themselves, so you know. Number 12, it can be risky. Driving for Uber and Lyft can be risky. Again, if you've watched any YouTube videos, you can see where certain things happen that can make it risky. For the most part, I'm going to tell you, nearly all rides, overall, in the grand scheme of things, zero problems occur. There are a few bad apples that can make the batch look worse. But yeah, for the most part, it's not going to be risky, but it can be. You never know what situation or scenario may arise. And it's always just to be on the side of cautious anytime you drive. Even just driving itself on the road, you can be at a higher risk of getting into an accident just because of somebody else's fault, not necessarily yours. Maybe they veer in your lane. Maybe, they stop short. They're not paying attention, whatever it could be. So always be cautious, always be aware, always, check things out, make sure to try to limit the amount of risk you can. But as always, there's always some sort of risk associated with everything. And being an Uber or Lyft driver, it can be risky as well too. Number 13, your pickup or your drop off, your passengers, not always going to be at the spot that they pick up. Or the pin is. Sometimes, you can't get to a spot because it's unsafe to stop there or let passengers in and out. So you want to make sure when you do pick up or drop off that you're in a safe spot, that you're not in the middle of the road, that you're pulled over to the side of the road or a side street if it's like a bar district or busy or an event or something like that. You want to make sure that you are able to pick up and drop off passengers in safe locations, which does also mean that you may not be at the exact pinned location when trying to pick up or drop off. So again, just be safe about things, use common sense on that, and don't block traffic especially. Also, cops are ticketing now for Uber and Lyft drivers who stop in the middle of the road and let people in and off who are blocking traffic. So make sure that you don't do that. Number 14, many passengers either don't read the terms of service or just flat out ignore the rules. So you want to make sure you know the terms of service on both the driver and the passenger side. So if somebody's trying to do something wrong or start something wrong, you can stop, you can cancel the ride, you can cancel it mid-ride, you can call the company and tell them what's going on and let them know. But yeah, most of the time, passengers either don't read the terms of service, so they don't know certain rules, or they just ignore them altogether. So you want to make sure, like I say, you're aware. Number 15, to get that cancellation fee, you have to wait 5 minutes. So here's the good thing. When a passenger cancels on you, they have 2 minutes to cancel. Otherwise, they're going to be charged the cancellation fee. For a driver, once they get to the location for the pickup, you have 5 minutes to wait until you can claim a cancellation fee. There's many reasons for it, but yeah, if there's any issues where like you have to cancel for a child without a car seat, too many passengers, even somebody who's rude or disrespectful or whatever it might be, where you might have to cancel, or they don't show up or whatever it is, you have to wait the 5 minutes and then cancel the ride to be able to get that $5 fee or the cancellation fee. Number 16, you are not above the law when driving. So no alcohol in the car. In Uber, it's okay in areas that allow alcohol, but Lyft does not allow alcohol in any Lyft whatsoever. So make sure you realize those distinctions. So when it comes to alcohol, again, for many, many, many areas, alcohol is a no-go, period. This isn't a party bus. This isn't a limo where alcohol may be consumed in certain areas or certain times when certain criteria is met, like a party bus or something like that. But remember, you're a personal vehicle, so you are not above the law in any way, shape, or form. Again, not too many passengers coming on. You only have so many seatbelts. That's the amount of passengers that you can allow in your car. It's for safety reasons, liability reasons, many different things. Like no car seats means no kids with no car seats means no ride. Same thing there. So again, you're not above the law. You don't want to get the ticket. Don't take a passenger who tries to get you to do things that are against the law. You can cancel, you can do whatever you need to do, or just tell them, look, you can't have that thing, whatever it might be. But yes, you just know you're not above the law. You will get ticketed. Number 17, you can be deactivated for false reports. It can be temporary and it can be permanently. So false reports are a big problem because, again, passengers are trying to scam by getting a free or reduced rate ride, so they create a false report, and they don't care if it's going to get you temporarily or permanently deactivated. Also, they can make false reports, say they want to do something that's illegal or against the terms of service, so they're going to make up a false accusation, call the company, where they can get you permanently or temporarily deactivated. So just be aware of that. One thing I recommend, always have a dash cam, because if there's certain issues that happen, you can use that footage, whether it's for Uber or Lyft or court of law. So just make sure you do have that information with a dash cam. Number 18, you can cancel mid-ride. So if a passenger's doing something wrong, if there's any issues or anything like that, you can pull over and tell them, get out of the car, the ride is over. You are in full right to stop the ride. If you do cancel mid-ride, make sure you call Uber or Lyft and make a report immediately, because chances are they're going to call and create a false report. But yes, call them right away and tell them. Same thing, if you have a dash cam, just save that footage as well, just in case anything does happen. Number 19, passenger ratings do matter. So do not rate passengers just 5 stars if they don't deserve it. A lot of drivers will actually use that rating to either accept or deny that ride when they're getting the ping for a ride. So yes, passenger ratings do actually matter. Number 20, you can make rules that go beyond what Uber and Lyft as well as the law state. So if you don't want people eating in your car, you can make that rule. It's your car, it's your business, it's your rules. So you can make rules that are beyond Uber and Lyft's. Same thing with when I was talking about alcohol earlier. Uber will allow alcohol in an Uber in certain areas that do allow passengers to have it. You can, as a driver, say there's no alcohol period in my car, and you are within full right to be able to do that. It's your car, it's your rules. So again, something like eating or drinks or anything like that, you can make rules beyond that. All right, and a bonus tip for what Uber and Lyft might not tell you as a driver is knowing the area, knowing the market, knowing where events are, knowing what's going on. That's really going to help you make more money. So if you know where things are, if you know where to drive, you might be trial and error. It might be just understanding your area altogether, so you know where the busy spots are, you know where business districts are, bar districts are, whatever it might be. But yes, that is something that they don't really tell you, but you should really understand and know and figure out yourself. All right, guys, so that is 20 different things that Uber and Lyft do not tell you as a driver, plus a bonus. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to check out my channel called Real Rideshare Stories, where it's a YouTube channel where we do a lot of different things within the rideshare industry, where it's actual rides. We have a YouTube series now called The World's Worst Rideshare Driver with Rideshare Driver Joe. It's a pretty funny comedy series, but it takes actually what's going on in Uber or Lyft and kind of puts it out into a funny comedy show. So check that out. Check my channel out. But again, this has been another episode of the Rideshare Hub. Again, also make sure to click like if you enjoyed this video, got some good insight. Also, comment below on anything that you know that Uber and Lyft doesn't tell you as well as a driver. And then kind of your different expectations, what you expected before starting, and then actually when you're driving, and then even if you've been doing it for a while, maybe the differences there as well. So make sure you comment below. Again, this has been another episode of the Rideshare Hub. My name is Chris, and we'll see you next time.